The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
Ladies and gentlemen,
available on all platforms and YouTube.
He's the Apex Podcaster. He's the wise owl of professional wrestling.
He smells better than Dude Love with Sex Panther on.
He's the king of fantasy booking.
He is your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast.
He is Omega Luke, and you're listening to the Omega Luke Wrestling Podcast.
What's going on, guys? Elephant in the room. Yes, that is my new intro. I hope you like it. I love my old intro, don't get me wrong, but I'm a fan believer of improvement. So every week I get a bit of free time. My aim is to improve one thing about my content, whether that be on the podcast or on YouTube. I'm altering the logo. The intro is changing. I'm working on my videos. I'm doing it all because I want to get better and be better. And that's all thanks to you guys supporting. Straight from the Patreons all the way through to the people who drop by every now and then and listen to an episode. You guys help with me and I am forever grateful of your kind words. And it really does drive me to get better and make my content better. I love the support I get now, but because I know how much you love what I do, thanks to you guys telling me, I know that there are others out there too who haven't found their favourite podcast yet, but they will eventually. Hopefully anyway. Enough of the soppy stuff now before I get all emotional. It's time for another awesome interview. Now, just because I put this interview back a week does not mean it isn't good. Believe me, I wouldn't post it if it wasn't. Simply put, Darby Allin was talking about topics that were very relevant last week, so I rescheduled this interview. But today's guest is none other than Jazz, the current NWA Women's Champion, formerly of ECW, WWF and WWE. Of course, she's had an amazing career, and we cover a lot of the career here. We talk about ECW, we talk about the WWF and the Indies, and of course, what she's doing now and wants to do in the future, and we maybe talk a little about the Hall of Fame. So let's get right into it. Over to me and the current NWA Women's Champion, Jazz.
Hi, I'm Bruce Pritchard. This is Conrad Thompson.
And you're listening to the Omega Luke Podcast.
Hey guys, I am here with my guest today who really doesn't need an introduction. However, she definitely deserves one because she is the last WWF Women's Champion and the first WWE Women's Champion, and she is the current NWA Women's Champion as well. Thank you very much for joining me. Jazz, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
I am absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Always a good time and fun times when I do a podcast. So this is just I'm ready to have fun.
Great. So am I. So, like I said, it's a pleasure to have you with me today. It's very surreal having someone who I watched every week on TV join me on my podcast. You've wrestled for 20 years now. My first question really to you is, how are you feeling right now as a wrestler? Are you fitting well and still really enjoying it?
Yes, honestly, I'm feeling like I'm 10 years younger right now.
Really? That's class.
Yes, I really am. I'm 46 years old, and I feel like I'm 30 years old right now, honestly.
That's amazing. Is that down to just hard work in the gym, eating right?
Basically, yes, just eating right and resting properly, eating properly, and, you know, all that takes effect in how your body feels, you know. So, and I try to be smart. I'm a lot wiser now when it comes to in-ring wrestling. So,
a lot less risk, I suppose.
Yes. Yes. Well, what it is too, I don't go out there and do all these crazy moves, you know, but I've never been one to do anything that would jeopardize my life or my career in the ring anyway. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to get on to everything you're doing currently and incredibly on the indie scene a little bit later. But I hope you don't mind me sort of talking about your time in ECW and WWE first.
All right, not a problem. Let's roll.
So, really, I first want to ask you, to be honest, what was your time like in ECW, in the original ECW in the 90s before getting into WWF?
Honestly, my time in ECW was the best experience I've ever had in this industry, honestly.
Really?
Yes, because I had only trained for 6 to 8 months before I started working with ECW. So I was still so green. Yeah. And they never knew that. ECW had no clue. Dreamer just now, he just... I did an interview with Dreamer, and he was like, "Oh my God, Jazz, like you were that green." I was like, "Yeah, Tommy, like I was still that green." He was like, "My God," and we just threw you out there. I'm like, "Yeah," and my job was not to allow the ball to drop, you know. Yeah. So
did you feel like it was very natural to you wrestling? Do you feel like you picked it up very quickly?
Kind of, sort of. I've been an athlete all my life, you know, grew up around sports. My family's, you know, very athletic. So it was kind of like a gift that I caught on to things very quickly. Yeah. You know, and so, and I studied a lot of wrestling. You know, we watched wrestling every day. We watched a lot of film. We trained 7 days a week. Yeah. So it was like a full-time job, just training, you know. Yeah. So, yeah. And so once I got out there, it was just do or die. and I was not going to die out there. You couldn't die in front of ECW crowd because they would let you know. They would let you know.
Am I right in saying you were trained by Junkyard Dog?
Yes, I actually started out with Junkyard Dog. Rodney and myself both did, yes. And once we departed ways, Rod Price stepped in, and he actually really, really polished us up and prepared us for on-road travel, you know. Yeah. And that's when we would start hitting the road and traveling and doing a few shows. Rodney had done like maybe 100 shows to my 10, yeah. You know, so... Because, you know, back then it wasn't many women wrestling. Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely one of the staple of it wasn't wrestling. Many, you know. I mean, the ones that had wrestling were signed with WWF at the time already.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was a lot of intergender wrestling in
Yes,
ECW.
It was. That's exactly how we had to start out, you know. Yeah.
And how did you find that? Because I suppose training with the male sex anyway, I suppose that was the best experience ever. I believe that's the way everyone should train, honestly. Because if you can get in there and train with a man, you know, or have a match with a man, working a woman should be like you can do that with your eyes closed. Yeah. Yeah. You know. So, and ECW was very hardcore. And they were not allowed to treat me any differently. No, that's good, really.
Yeah, so that's what made me, you know, the badass, I guess, that I am today. Yes, yes, because I took a beating, you know, but I had to give it back in return. So, and you know, and I never bitched about anything. They chopped the shit out of me. Oh well, I got chopped. Yeah, you know, but I chopped the shit out of them too.
What about Paul Heyman? Was he sort of your link into the WWF originally?
Yes, he, you know, at the time, Vince had bought out ECW. They bought out ECW, and Paul was there doing commentary, and they had set it up for me to come in and do a dark match. And when I did my dark match, I worked Ivory,
Yeah.
And she was so kind and so giving and so open, you know, and
the
she
complete
was
opposite
like,
to her character.
Yes, and she was like, we're going to go out here and make this match about you.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be about you. And we did it, and they said it was the best response they ever had from a ladies match.
That's incredible. What a great thing to hear on your first Dark match.
Yeah, that was, oh my God. I mean, you know, ECW, you get used to that 5,000, maybe 10,000 people in the audience. But when you got, you know, 40,000, 50,000 people out there in the audience, that's a little bit different, you know.
Yeah, just a bit, yeah.
And the whole stage is bigger, you know. The ramp, the walk to the ring takes longer, you know. So the anticipation and your nerves is like just going crazy inside your body before you even get in the ring.
Yeah, I can imagine. WWF then, how did you sort of adapt to joining the huge company? Was it daunting task at first? I mean, you just alluded to then being very different even to like the ramp size. Or was it sort of like, you know, just trust your talent, stick to what you do best?
I did that. I stuck with my gut instinct, but the only thing different that kind of threw me off in the beginning in WWF was in ECW when I wrestled, I was a babyface.
Yeah.
And I get to WWF, they tell me, you're going to be a heel. So I had to go out, you know, in the house shows just overnight and be a heel, you know. And
did you find that came natural?
It did, because like I said, I watched a lot of film, so I kind of had an idea of what a heel was supposed to do. And when my first match, which was a house show, and I came back from the curtain, you know, Arn Anderson, and he looked at me. He's like, "Kid, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be okay. You're a little stiff one out there." He called me Crowbar. So, and Trish at the time, she bruised so easily, and they thought I was killing her. And they would come to her like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I guess they didn't give a shit if I got knocked out or not, you know. I was like, "Hey, what about me?" You know, fuck.
That's cool.
I'm taking the chick kick, the stratisfaction, the stratosphere. You know, I'm taking all this shit. Well, these ask me if I'm okay.
What about then?
But it all worked out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you had an incredible career in the WWF and in the WWE. The 4th of February 2002, you win your first WWF Women's title on an episode of Monday Night Raw in a very popular time for WWE and WWF. How was this feeling for you, knowing that the company and Vince McMahon wanting you to be the sort of the main woman in the company and carrying?
You know what?
Belt?
Honestly, and it's weird as shit to say this, but honestly, I had no clue. I had never been a champion.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be one. That's what you work towards. But, you know, you don't know what that responsibility is until it's on your back.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so walking out there, I was just having another match.
Yeah.
You know, but when I walked back through the curtain with the strap, you know, then my world changed.
Yeah, I bet. Did they let you know a long time before that you were going to be champion? Was it sort of like a build to you? Was it just on the night?
No, it's kind of like it just happened.
Yeah. I hear that quite a lot. Everyone I sort of speak to who's worked in the WWE has sort of said, you know, like for example, when Jinder Mahal became champion last year, he didn't know until he was in the ring that he was WWE champion.
Yes, like it just happened, you know. Yeah. So you can't even prepare yourself, you know. And if you really pay attention, after I won, I didn't even know how to react.
Just doing laps of the ring.
You know, it's like, fuck, what do I do here? You know, just yay, you know.
Were you still a heel at that time?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I was a heel throughout my entire career in WWE.
So I suppose being a champion as a heel is a lot easier.
I love being a heel.
Yeah.
I love it. I can work both. I'm a great babyface, because I understand the psychology of both heel or face. But heel just comes so natural for me.
Yeah,
it really does. And working in ECW has a lot to do with that, because I had to work so strong towards working with the men. So me being a heel in WWF, it came natural.
Yeah, definitely. The women of that era, you to me have a big place in my wrestling heart, as it was the time I remember most growing up watching wrestling. I was about 10, 12 years old, with the likes of you and Trish, Lita, Jacqueline.
Yes.
There's so many names. Molly Holly, Ivory. How special were those times for women
it
wrestling
was,
for you?
And you know what? It was great, because it was only a handful of us, first of all.
Yeah.
It wasn't 50 like they have now on the roster.
Yeah.
So our goal was to be acknowledged as women wrestlers. So that's all we focused on. Like, give us our time to showcase what we can do. We're not here to showcase tits and ass.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
We want the fans to know that we can wrestle, just like the men, so that's what we were all about in that era.
Yeah.
We was trying to fight for our position in that company as known as professional wrestlers, so all that diva shit, like, no one cared about that diva shit. You know what I mean? Especially me. I was so anti-diva till it just... That's why everything came so natural to me, because I was opposite of everything that they had already done.
Yeah.
I was totally...
Well, you're a badass.
I was just the opposite of everything they were doing at the time.
Yeah. But I think we're finally sort of getting to that point now. And
they are.
Your era
they
was
are.
Definitely
yes.
played a massive part of that, as well as the eras after you.
Yes, and I feel that I really was before my time in WWE.
Yeah.
Like, this is my era now that I should be there still. You know what I mean? Like, it was great for me to be there then because I brought something different to the table.
Yeah.
But where they're at now is most definitely is who I am.
Yeah. Is there anyone on the roster right now who you'd love to have a bit of a wrestle with, who you'd love to have a match against?
Anyone. And I feel I can get out there and have a 5-star match with either one of them.
Yeah.
We can main event Mania right now.
Yeah. Why not? You even had like crazy matches as well. I remember rightly with like Bubba Ray Dudley and like hardcore matches.
And I hate that match.
Really?
Yes. That's like I hate that match because it didn't make sense to me.
No.
It didn't fit in what we were doing at the time.
It was a bit random to me. I always remember
it
being
exactly.
Extremely
like, where
random.
the fuck did that come from? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
What's the purpose behind it?
Yeah, especially because mixed gender wrestling never really happened much under Vince McMahon.
Yeah, exactly. And that was just so bizarre of like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
It's that didn't honestly, that match didn't do anything for my career.
No. Well, thankfully you had, 5 good years in WWE.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite moment there?
I have most definitely 2. Well, you could say 3. Being in WrestleMania is always that's your dream, right? Yeah. Who the hell doesn't want to be in WrestleMania? But when you go out there as a champion and you walk back still the champion, that's like the Super Bowl, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like the most memorable moment of my entire career in the WWF or E. You could say, when WrestleMania 18.
And what a WrestleMania too, by the way.
Yeah. yes.
Personally, I feel you are one of the most underappreciated women's wrestlers from that era. in the WWE. And lately,
and I'm glad you used that word because a lot of people say underrated. No, I wasn't underrated. I wasn't underrated because I proved who the hell I was and what I was capable to do out there.
Yeah,
it's just that I wasn't appreciated.
I agree. Yeah, completely. And lately, I'm seeing more and more of your name popping up and being in the same sentence as Hall of Fame.
Yes.
How does it make you feel when people suggest things like this to you? To know that fans, like including myself, want this to happen for you.
It's a great feeling, and it's a great feeling to know that someone appreciates your work and your work ethic, because you work so hard and you sacrifice so much, and for the fans to feel that you deserve this, because they'll let you know. Like so many people are against Ronda Rousey having the belt, so they're very free with social media right now. You really get people honest opinion on things or how they really feel.
yeah, definitely.
And this is worldwide, like I'm talking to you right now, you're in the UK. So this is worldwide. So when you have people saying that I deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, it's like, thank you. That's why I worked so hard and trained 7 days a week in the gym 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So the work paid off.
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully we'll see that very soon.
Hopefully, never say never. I don't know if it ever happens, but just never say never in this business. You never know what's gonna happen in this business.
Let's go past your WWE time now and look at you on the indie scene.
Yes.
I noticed that a couple of years ago you took part in one of my new favourite companies, Chikara, for the King of Trios events with Mickie James and Victoria. How much fun was that for you?
That was fun, and you know what? That match brought me back out of retirement.
Really?
Yes. I hadn't wrestled in 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And they called me for that show, and I almost told them no. And they told me I was working with Mickey and Victoria, and I was like, well, hell yeah, those are my girls. So I took the booking and went out there and had fun, and that's when I decided, you know what, Jazz, this is where you belong.
Yeah.
Like, why did you stop? But I was just, at that particular time, I was on a different journey. I had my kids, so I was just trying to be a normal person, go to work, come home, be a mom, be a wife,
Yeah. Well, thankfully you carried on your career because
yes,
you've come a long way since then, really.
Yes.
But Chikara for me is one of these companies now where we see a lot of big names coming out of Chikara, Cesaro, even like the British Strong Style.
Yes.
Recently, I think maybe the same year as you, they were there as well.
Yes.
Is it something that you like to do? Something very different types of company, Chikara? Is that something you'd like to do still?
Yes, of course. I would love to. I wish I could I need to contact them and see if I can get back on the show. Where I am right now in my career, I like working with younger talent.
Yeah.
I like working with girls that are green so I can elevate them. They might not get to my level in that one night, but I'm affecting them and bringing them a step closer.
Yeah, teaching them something.
Yes, and that's what I do. I try to let every match I have now be a learning experience for my opponent. I don't go out there and try to, ball hog and just whoop ass and take names. I really try to take them out of their element. And I make them work differently.
Yeah. What's the difference of the indie scene now compared to, say, what it was like 10 years ago?
Well, right now, there's like 10,000 women, so I can actually have a match 7 days a week and work a different girl every night.
Yeah, that's pretty good, yeah.
I mean, women is really, really... It's come a long way, and women wrestling is really taking over. And you have so many people doing all women shows, so it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
and these girls are getting so much noticed and so many props of being just these phenomenal, getting to showcase their phenomenal talent now is just unbelievable. So it's just, and I'm great, and I'm honored to be a part of that still, Like I said, I'm 46, so how many women 46 still wrestling and still at the top of their game,
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty amazing. We're seeing someone like Becky Lynch, who is arguably one of the most over people in the world of wrestling, male or female.
Yes.
And then we're seeing women like Jordan Grace, who you recently wrestled in the NWA, I think, I believe it was.
Yeah, we had a match in New York. Yes.
Yeah, and she is amazing, and she is getting shit hot right now.
Yes, but you know what? When you have never been on TV on that level, she's gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? You have to you got to change certain things about your character, the way you carry yourself, the way you perform, because it's not an indie show.
No,
you can't go out there and fuck with one fan in the audience, the whole night, and just talk shit to that one fan. You really can't even acknowledge the audience when you're out there doing TV, because you have a time frame. You gotta do this and you gotta do that. When they said 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes from the moment you walk out that curtain.
Yeah.
So all this calling, all this shit in the back, what you're gonna do, it may not happen out there.
Yeah, very true.
That's why I don't like to call anything in the back because. Because so many times when I was in WWF, we were supposed to have an 8-minute match, and when the music hit, they're like, your time's been cut, you got 5 minutes. So that's a lot of our match has been cut out before we even go through the curtain at like short notice like that. So she's just young and she's gonna get it. Just gotta give her time to let her develop. So they need to just chill out a little bit, but she's going to be all right.
Yeah, definitely. I seen a match just recently, actually, at Ladies Night Out 4 in November.
Yes.
On the Title Match Wrestling Network, I think it was, and you ended up leaving the ring on the shoulders of the referee with the crowd chanting your name. And it just looks like now that you're just having the most fun a wrestler can seriously have.
Yes, and you know what? That was a great match. Actually, and I don't know if you saw that on Twitter. That was like one of the top 3 matches of the year with that company.
Yeah.
So when you see things like that and you're a part of that, it just tell you like. This is where you still belong. You still belong in this business, Yeah. It's like you can't give up yet. You still belong here,
Definitely.
So it's amazing.
Nowadays, obviously, you're working with the NWA a lot as their women's champ. But you also worked for them in the 90s too. And is there sort of like a big difference of the company from the 2 times that you've worked with them?
Oh, yes, there's a big difference. I mean, because their NWA, of course, is totally different from, your Ric Flair days, your Harley Race, and the Terry Funk days, But I'm still trying to, and I'm not going to even say trying, I'm still working on that style of professional wrestling. Like being a part of the NWA, like I'm trying to be like so old school. That's when heel was a heel.
Yeah.
That's when you didn't cheer for a heel back then. You wish you could get a knife and just cut his ear off. You know what I mean? You actually hated the guy. It wasn't like you popping and chatting his name, Let's go, blah, blah, let's go, let's go.
Would you say that's the biggest change then?
From this era to the 80s, yes. That's one of the biggest, yes. That's something that has really changed. A heel get a babyface pop nowadays.
Yeah, that sort of first happened with like the NWO in WCW. Where
yeah,
it was just
exactly.
very cool to be
it's
that, and
like,
Stone Cold as well.
You're not a heel, you're cool.
Yeah, the anti-hero sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd love to be hated. That's why in WWF people actually hated me, you know. But now the heels, they love the heels. They love fucking Charlotte Flair. They love fucking Becky Lynch. Yeah. You know, I don't know if it's the babyface that can't. I don't know what it is.
It's just hard to hate them, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's because now you just appreciate how
the
talented they are and
yes,
the work. Yeah,
exactly. It's more of an appreciation thing. Yes, but still, I just wish the fans would still appreciate the work, but still, you know, acknowledge that we're not supposed to cheer for them. We're supposed to, you know, we need to boo somebody. When you go to a movie, do you cheer for the villain?
Yeah. Are you saying, Jazz, that when I come watch you next, I've got to boo you as loud as I can?
Yeah, please. I try, and you know what? And I try to get boos, but these days they just don't boo heels anymore.
It's hard to boo a legend like you.
Yeah, it really is. It's hard to get heat. I mean, it is so hard.
Yeah. But speaking of the NWA, you have been the women's champion now for nearly 850 days, which is pretty incredible.
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
With All In last year and the NWA sort of getting a huge popularity boost, I felt like in 2018, with Nick Aldis doing wonders for the men's brand as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you could see yourself, Nick, and Willie Mack taking part in the All Elite Wrestling that's just been announced?
Again, you know, never say never. You just don't know. You just never know when your phone's going to ring and who's on the other end calling.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to say, you know, but I think that's going to be such a huge, it's going to be such a big deal. First of all, it's going to be more competition.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more people on the indies getting picked up and getting signed, you know, so, and that's going to leave, you know, room for me to just stay on the indies and have fun, you know, like, I don't care if I get signed. I'm not looking to sign a contract. I don't care about that. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I love having my freedom. You know what I mean? Like, if I would sign a contract, it would most definitely have to be something that I agree upon. Like, I'm not going to be away from my kids over 300 days out of a year. Like, I refuse that. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm having fun right now. Yeah, I'm in a great place in my life, you know, with my kids, my husband, and you know, NWA champion, and even once the belt is gone, I'm still gonna have fun. I just want to wrestle. I just want to wrestle.
Yeah, and we want you to continue to wrestle.
Yes.
I have a couple more questions, which I'll get to in a minute, but I also have a couple Patreon members who have some questions that they'd like to ask you, if you don't mind. So the first one is from the lovely Courtney Summers, and she wants to know how it feels to be relevant all these years later. She watched you as a kid. Now she's grown up, married. How did you do it? How are you still going right now?
You know what? I don't like to really talk about religion and all this, but I truly believe in God, you know, and I give all glory to him, and he's the one that blessed me with this gift, you know, and allowing me to keep on and continuing this that I love so much, so dearly. So I just give all glory to God because, like I said, he's the one that blessed me with this gift, you know. I mean, and me being thrown out there to the wolves, you know, years ago, and able to stand and not fuck up, you know, and that was a valuable lesson, And I take every match as a learning lesson, even for myself, even though I'm still trying to help elevate these younger girls. But I learn in each match myself still today. And that's what everyone needs to know. Like, you never stop learning.
Yeah.
No, I've been in the business. Yeah, you never stop learning. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, he still go to practice every day.
Yeah.
You never stop developing your craft.
Definitely.
So that's what it is.
The next question comes from Jonathan Pilquist, JPQ as I call him. He's asked sort of a similar question. Maybe it's sort of the same answer, to be honest. Knowing that you've been in the business for close to, if not 20 years, what has kept you motivated to continue in the business?
Watching how the business developed.
Yeah.
And watching how the women, watching how the women these nowadays have come so far, and they're busting their asses to prove that they are and deserve to be in this industry. And I'm so lucky to still be a part of it.
Yeah.
I helped start it, so I damn sure still want to be in it.
And you deserve to. Definitely.
Yes.
I've got some quick fire questions for you now, so sort of like just very snappy one answers, and we'll just go straight on to the next question if that's okay with you.
Cool. Ready.
So, number one, favorite ever match that you've been involved?
WrestleMania 18.
Favorite indie company that you've worked for other than NWA?
Oh my God. Holy moly. Oh my God, that's a hard one. Jesus,
NWA.
Yeah, that's a hard one because God, I've worked for so many companies and I've had so many great matches. I would have to say my own company that Rodney and I had in Louisiana. So I would have to say DCW.
Cool. Favorite ever opponent? Out of trouble.
Favorite ever opponent. I would say I have a couple. Trish Stratus.
Yep.
Of course. I made money with her. Always my favorite because I made money with her.
Yeah.
Sarah Del Rey.
Yep.
And Mercedes Martinez.
Oh, she's very good. Yep.
LuFisto.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, I've worked, man. And you know what's great about this? I worked these girls like when they first started.
Yeah. And
look at them now.
Yeah, definitely. And you've had so many opponents as well.
Yeah. So it's like, gosh, Jackie. I love working Jackie. All right, let's roll with the questions.
Number 4, the person you wish you could have wrestled who's now retired, who you never did.
China.
Good call. I like that call.
Yes.
Opponent you want to face who you haven't yet, who's still active.
Wow. I shoot for the stars, baby. Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair.
Great answer. Your biggest achievement?
Having my twin girls.
Great answer. What about your biggest goal?
WWE Hall of Fame.
Another good answer. Favorite wrestler to watch?
Oh my God. Holy moly. Wow. Stan Hansen.
Oh, that's a great shout. I didn't expect you to say him.
Huh?
I didn't expect you to say Stan Hansen, that's for sure.
I know. But see, that goes to show you. I watch old school shit, baby.
What about, in your opinion, who has the most potential as a women's wrestler out of like the very young talent we have right now?
Wow, there's so many. I would have to go with Mercedes Martinez.
Good call. And last question. Company you haven't wrestled for yet that you want to wrestle for the most?
I would love to step in Impact Ring at least once or twice. Yes.
Yeah, they've come on leaps and bounds these last couple of years as well.
Yes.
So that is a very good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jazz, it's been an absolute honour to have you on today.
Thank you.
Can you tell us any upcoming shows that you have that people can get tickets for and come and watch you wrestle in 2019?
Yes, well, of course, we got the NWA pop-up coming this weekend, which is Saturday, which is, the 6th?
Yep.
Got that. January 26th, I will be in Jersey wrestling the Manic, Maria Manic. I'll be doing a seminar out there. That's what I got here so far in January, but February I'll be in 3 or 4 places. But just tell everybody, just check me out on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, and that's Phenom_Jazz. Check me out. Follow me, please. And I'm on Facebook with my shoot name, which is Carlene Begno. Check me out. I will be posting and updating all my shows and appearances on Twitter and Facebook. And check me out. I will be announcing other few things on Twitter and Facebook as well. Rodney and I will be starting our own personal training business this year in 2019. We're going to start a training facility where we're going to just help polish up people that's already wrestling, nothing like beginners, but just help polish up people that's already out working. Yeah. To help them develop to get ready for TV possibly,
Definitely, yeah.
So we got some things that we have in our back pocket that we're about to pull out here in a little bit in 2019.
Awesome. Well, hopefully everyone can check you out in 2019 and like you said, never say never. Maybe I'll see you in the UK sometime.
Yes, hopefully. Hell yeah, they plugged the shit out of me in UK. I want to come to UK.
Let's get Jazz in the UK as well as in the Hall of Fame. Definitely.
Hell yeah. That's it. Let's rock and roll.
Well, I've absolutely loved speaking to you today. I hope you enjoyed it too. And before I let you go, thank you once again for coming on, Jazz.
Thank you for having me. Anytime.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This is Darby Allin. Subscribe to Omega Luke.
Like I said, great interview. Absolutely lovely person to speak to, Jazz. She really was cracking me up the whole way through. An absolute sweetheart, and definitely someone who deserves more praise than probably what she gets. Very overlooked legend, I feel, and hopefully a future Hall of Famer. So thank you to Jazz, and thank you for everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Plenty more to come, as well as that 1v1 match between me and Math as we fantasy book the Royal Rumble. And of course, the final of the Fantasy Booking League, Mason Adams versus Royally Rumbled, and they are fantasy booking my boy Andrade Cien Almas. Or is it just Andrade now? Who knows? So, you don't want to miss this. The vlog also should be live on the YouTube now, so please check that out. We worked very hard on it, answering all your questions, and it took a lot of time to edit, and having a lot of fun doing so as well. Subscribe to the YouTube, keep your friends close, but keep Omega Luke closer. Goodbye, everyone. And good night. Bang.
Finally! Are you ready?
But that's not me. I'm the Switchblade, baby.
You, and especially you. Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. Goodbye. Write it down. You like writing things down.
I am your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast. I am
Omega.
The Omega Luke Wrestling Podcast.